Konrad, so I wanted to ask you about, we've been talking about the programmatic world and the hygiene of it for a number of years now. What progress has been made and what has to be solved?
I think surprisingly little progress has been made since, I think 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of the advertisers were starting to get on the barricades to hold the industry accountable for all the spend that is going in the industry. And what has to change is that we have to create transparency and accountability across the entire supply chain.
Well, what's the problem and who are the bad players and what's going on? How do you ascertain what the issues are there?
My sense is there's the ecosystem has evolved into a situation where there's a lot of fraud across various steps in the supply chain because of a lack of transparency. As a result of that, there's a lot of money wasted that the brands and the agencies are investing. And from a consumer perspective, you're getting not the experience that you deserve, and you're getting a lot of irrelevant content.
So how much is wasted? I don't know if there's some industry numbers. What do you think? How much is wasted?
It is very hard to say because it depends ultimately on the overall campaign strategy and the targeting technique. But what we see in certain tests we are driving is between 20 and 50% could be wasted.
Wow. So I wanted to ask you about, well, so let me ask you, what are you guys going to do? How are you going to help lead the industry to fix this?
So we have a general sense of being accountable to the brands and the consumer. And ultimately, from a long-term perspective, we want to create an ecosystem where brands and consumers in a long-term relationship can continue to interact. That means we have to create an experience that is privacy respective and where the brands know who they deal with across the entire supply chain, what they pay for, and that they're interacting with real humans at the other end of the chain.
So not to get too deep into it, but how do you do that? And what are the tools that you're using?
Our commitment is to create an accountable and addressable supply chain that is powered by AI, and we are doing it in sort of 3 steps. The accountability is essentially a creation of transparency end to end, that we know who the players are across the supply chain. We know what the fees are across the entire waterfall, and we know who the bad players are and who the good players are. The addressability means we are ensuring that you are, as an advertiser or an agency, targeting real humans and not a device across channels. And it also means that from an AI perspective, you're getting transparent reporting and you're getting a low manual intervention effort. So the return on your investment should be much higher and should be targeted much more precisely.
And Konrad, finally, you're new to the company, you started out. I know it's a little early to say where all MediaMath is going to be going, but what is your vision and what are your hopes for the company?
The long-term vision is what I mentioned earlier around creating advertising that consumers love. That is the only way to keep the ecosystem healthy and ensure that the brands that are investing money are doing so in a safe and accountable and transparent environment. That is the overall long-term vision, and we are aligning the company behind these pillars of accountability, addressability, and AI powered to improve the outcomes for the entire ecosystem.